Right, another thing I want to add to this is some kind of clumping. If I press spacebar and F, I want to, we've got clumping in the noise from the attraction weight, but I want the way they become active to be in chunks as opposed to just in a straight line coming down. So we can do that within the VOP here. First, we drop a fuse here. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is connect these points together so that we get some points like that. I'm going to set this to about 0.3. Okay, and then connect that into the second input here. Dive inside, let's visualize that. Dive inside, so that second input will be what's coming out here. What we can do is use the near point. So, each of those points coming in there will look for points around them. So, use the near points, connect the file here. Oh, what have we got? Neighbor count file, I don't want that. I want oh, that's why I've spelled it wrong. Near point, there we go. So input there, and then position will be, our position. And then we need to import the position of these as well. Okay, so we need to import point attribute. And then file will be so that to that same second input. ptnum, so that this will give us a list of points, so points which are near these points. Okay, and this list will go in here, and then the results of that I'm going to use for this relative box instead of this, and that will give us a more interesting result now. So if I go back out here now, and yeah, I think we're still visualizing that. If I go forward, you can see that it's coming out in clumps now. Look at that, cool. Okay, and we can control the size of these by this fuse. So if I make more points here, if I go down like that, we'll get smaller pieces, which is cool. Okay, so I'm going to set this back to what it was, 0.3, like that, and then I want to animate this value or control the animation. So one thing which could be a problem is, I don't want any floating pieces. So this arm, if this, you can see the head and shoulder and hand here will be activated, and I will leave this arm floating, which doesn't really make any sense. So we need to animate those values. So if I can use the animation editor, there's a way, I can't remember. We could just do it like this: Windows, new floating panel. I'll tell you what, we'll split it like we did earlier. So split pane left and right click, animation editor. Okay. Okay, and let's first change this to be linear, like that, and then just watch how it goes. So what I'd like is for it to start out, let's say, to there. So I'm going to alt click that on this 0.8. So let's set this to 0.8. Oh, and I've lost. There we go. And I'm going to move this back so that we start out on the first frame. We lose. That's too much. I need to go. Not 0.8. Let's do. There we go, 0.9. Okay, so these two parts will be activated very quickly in the first few frames, and then I'd like to hold that for a while. Let's say, let's watch what we can do is come here, template the animation so we can get a sense. So, while the arms are swinging around, and then maybe, this point, we lose the torso and just keep the legs. Okay, so before they fall down, so maybe let's say to frame 30. So I'm going to do another alt click there, and set that to this value, which was, I don't know why it's not showing me properly, 0.9. So here, set this to 0.9 as well. And then, or maybe a little bit earlier, frame 25. Okay, and then frame 30, I want to jump down to, let's see, above there. Take this value, so 0.55. And let's alt click that. Okay, but I want this to happen very, very quickly. Let's say like that. Maybe let's move these back, actually move both of these like that. So we got the head at the start, and we'll get, you know, that bit of sand kind of animated, and then very quickly we lose the torso, basically to avoid any floating hand bits. Okay, and then slowly the legs will go. Maybe, yeah, I don't think I want these feet kind of separated and animated by themselves either. So maybe we'll maintain like this bit. So what's that, 0.45? I'm just rounding up the numbers, doesn't matter really. And then maybe drag that over like that. Okay, and then actually before it falls, let's do it like here. Okay, and then bring it down to 0 really quickly as well. Let's say by frame 50. Bit before that, 45. There we go. I'll move this to frame 40. I just prefer the round numbers, to be honest. Okay, so there we got the legs held together, and then just as he's falling down, everything turns to sand at the end there. Okay, so we can run a flipbook of that just to check the kind of timing of it. Maybe, well, we could actually do it, get rid of that on the point deformed character, get rid of that, open that out, and then go in closely. Okay, and then just run a flipbook, see how that looks. There we go, that looked all right. Let's see that. So just trying to get a sense of the timing of it. Okay, so we'll have just the legs there moving around, and then they'll just pop down. So let's do a flipbook of the simulation. Again, I think we've got this on, yeah, just one sub step. Maybe I'll just give it 2 or 3 because it will run slowly. You know, we'll just go forward a frame maybe and just see. It's not too bad, so we'll leave it on that. Again, this is just to get a sense of that timing, and then we'll take a look at bumping up the resolution. So we'll see the results of this in the next video, I think.